You're listening to Living Full Out with Nancy Solari. As a life coach, Nancy can teach you how to stay strong under pressure and work through challenges you face. Being legally blind, Nancy inspires others to be resilient in overcoming obstacles and live full out. You can ask Nancy for advice in your life on relationships, finance, business, health, and more. Just call in at 800-333-0001. Once again, that's 800-333-0001. Now, here's Nancy.
Hello, everyone. Welcome to the Living Full Out Show. I am Nancy Solari, excited to be here with you today. So here's the thing. Today we are going to be talking about determination. How do we seize those opportunities, those desires that we have in life to really excel and achieve our goals and dreams? How do we do that? How do we muster that energy, that fire, that vigor, and really keeping that momentum to where we want to go? Well, we're going to talk about that, and I encourage you to call in. Again, that's 800-333-0001 if you have a question, so we can help move you forward and give you that action plan to achieve that goal. Also, coming up in our next segment, we have Lauren Williams. She was the first American woman to medal in a winter and spring games, so you don't want to miss her story. It's so inspiring. If you have questions on today's show, we always want to keep you supported. So feel free to email us at connect@livingfullout.com. Again, connect@livingfullout.com. We get emails from all of you on various weeks wanting certain resources or, can you tell me more about that? And we would love to do that, give you those action steps that you need. And lastly, if you have a story that you feel is inspiring, that would motivate our audience, we want to hear from you. This community is not just me talking to you. It's not just the callers that call in or the guests that share their stories. It's all of us collectively coming together to keep each other empowered. So if your story is one that you feel would benefit this Living Full Out audience, that we'd love to hear from you, just send your story again to connect@livingfullout.com. So how do you harness determination? How do you find that? How do you figure out what you need to do to get to the other side? So what I want you to consider is, what is it that you most want to achieve? What is that goal? What is that desire? And then when you have that crystal clear in your mind, then you want to go ahead and think about, what do I need to do to get there? What support may I need to get from other people? What amount of time will it take? What is the financial investment? And don't let those questions overwhelm you. What I suggest is sit yourself down, map it out on paper, talk it into a recorder or into a phone, whatever you need to do so that you can document what you're trying to visualize, what you want. And then when you put together that plan of action, it's really about putting benchmarks for when you're going to achieve a certain goal. And for some goals, it may be that you need more time, so you might give yourself a whole month, a whole year. For other goals, it may be, a day, a week. So you want to think about, what is it that you need to do to get to where you want to go? I know for me, there's so many times. I wake up every day just ready to go. Anybody who knows me knows me. I'm up at 4 a.m., 5 a.m. some mornings if I'm sleeping in. But oftentimes I embrace the morning. And then I put together this to-do list, which does seem achievable, but sometimes I have to slow myself down. I have to say, all right, Nancy, is this something that's truly realistic to achieve in a day? So sometimes you might need to have a little pep talk with yourself and ask yourself, is this a reasonable request? Is the time frame reasonable? Now, we're going to go to the phone lines and check in with one of our callers. Hello, welcome to the Living Full Out Show.
Hi, how are you?
I'm wonderful. Thank you for calling in. How can we help you today?
So I have just accepted a job down at Walt Disney World in Orlando, Florida, and I'm actually getting ready to move on Monday. And I'm just, having some trouble trying to remain positive and thinking about this big move because it's 15 hours away from everything I've ever known.
You know what? I love that you're asking this question, because at some point we all have to make a change. It might be just moving out of the house. It might be moving away. And you always want to look back at how you've handled change in the past, right? Like, as you went through school, you graduated and you went from elementary to middle school to high school, maybe on to college, right? And then how did you handle that change? What would you say?
I just went out and met new people and just, tried to keep in touch with everyone back at home, but just accepted all these different changes and things like that.
So what you want to think about is just that secret recipe that's always been your go-to. That's what you want to do. And what would you say is maybe where you might sabotage yourself when it comes to change? What would you say is something you should watch out for?
Just not, I guess, being like introverted in a sense, I guess. Does that make sense?
Okay. It absolutely makes sense. So you first of all want to just embrace this experience. It is so living full out of you. Gosh, M-I-C-K-E-Y. I love it. I love Disney World. Who doesn't love it? Happiest place on earth, right? So just embrace that. How much fun is this going to be? And who knows what doors it'll open. But when you feel that you're starting to get introverted, when you find yourself staying in, not going out, you find out about an opportunity to meet people, but you get a little bit, you're kind of chickening out. Maybe you blame it on the weather. Maybe, I'm tired. I want you in that moment to say, you know what? Nope, I'm going to go. I'm just going to go. Maybe I'll just go for an hour. Right?
Okay.
So know yourself best, right? So catch those times when you might sabotage what you really want. But at the same time, you've been here before, and your go-to has been put yourself out there, meet people, but yet stay connected to those that you love. If you do all that, you'll be great.
Okay, yeah.
All right, so thank you so much for calling in, and we wish you all the best. Tell Mickey hi.
Will do. Thank you.
Take care. Thank you. Bye-bye. Such a great question because honestly, she's going to have quite an adventure. There's going to be some highs and lows. So it's great that she's kind of looking ahead now, trying to catch herself so she can really enjoy that journey. Now we're getting word from our producer that we have another caller on the line. We're going to go check in with them. Hi, welcome to the Living Full Out Show.
Hi, thank you.
Yeah, so how can we help you today? What's going on?
Okay, so my brother, he's 24. He's been getting in trouble with the law all the time. He doesn't even have a driver's license. And he's outright disrespectful to everyone, really. And so my parents, they just seem to always give him more attention, even though I don't feel like he deserves that extra attention. And I feel like they give him more money for things that he just blows. And every time I bring it up to my parents, they just leave the room. They totally avoid the situation at all costs. They're just like, nope, and literally leave the room. So I guess I just am looking for advice on how to go about talking about it with them without making them mad or, upset at me.
I love that you asked this question because in my mind, I can think of several clients I've helped over the years who have had the same question. And honestly, I think sometimes later down the road when we become parents or when we see other people become parents, we see roles shift. That's when we kind of get that aha moment. Obviously, you're not there yet. But what I would do is I would find the best way to communicate with them. So right now, you're trying to talk to them. Maybe it's even in the form of a dispute or an argument. And that might not be their best listening. And your parents might have different forms of communication. So what you might want to consider is writing them a handwritten letter, an email, leaving them a voicemail, or having a conversation separately of each parent. Because sometimes if you have them both together, sometimes they might play off of each other or feel like they have to back the other, or you don't know. So maybe take them separately and have a conversation and just try to find out why. Obviously, if your brother completely goes off-roading, right, and he goes to prison, he maybe even unfortunately loses his life, that's not going to help your family. So they're kind of in crisis mode. And when you have children, you're not given a manual. There's no go to page 6 when your son steals or, when he talks back to you or gets in trouble with the law. There's none of that. So I think at some point they're just doing the best they can. Now they know in you're doing it. And so feel good about that. And don't look at it as a competition. Look at it like, you're a winner. You're a winner in their life. And that's a good place to be. Okay? So I want you to communicate with them in the best method that you feel they would, accept it. And then let us know how it goes. Okay?
Okay.
Thank you for calling in. And I want to thank everybody who has called in because, honestly, we all are here and supporting each other. And when we come back, we're going to be joined by Lauren Williams, our inspirational guest today. You don't want to miss it. It's a great interview. And again, I am Nancy Solari. This is the Living Full Out Show. And we'll be right back after this commercial break. Stay with us.
This is fun. I didn't think I liked kayaking.
Well, I'm glad you enjoyed it, but I think it's time to head back in.
Okay. Can we come back?
Sure.
Tomorrow?
Let's check with Mom. Hey, be careful getting out of the boat.
It's a kayak, Dad.
I'm going to return the kayak. Let's make sure you have everything.
Yep. Can we walk home?
How about a taxi? 233 North Maple, please.
It's a short fare from your neighborhood to your naturehood. Visit discovertheforest.org to find a neighborhood park or green space near you. Also, find fun activities to do like boating and biking or camping and hiking, plus much more. It's all right in your naturehood.
Best day ever.
A public service announcement brought to you by the Ad Council and the U.S. Forest Service.
Don't you wish that getting your child to eat right, move more, and spend less time in front of a screen could be as easy as pushing a button? It might not be that simple, but you do have more power than you know. And you can maximize that power with proven strategies, tips, and tools from the National Institutes of Health's We Can, or Ways to Enhance Children's Activity and Nutrition program. We Can offers all kinds of resources, including fun recipes and activities the family can do together to show you the way to live a healthier lifestyle. We're not saying it's easy. We are saying that it can be done. Take the first step today. Call 1-866-359-3226 for a free We Can Parents Handbook. And be sure to visit the We Can website at wecan.nhlbi.nih.gov for free information too. A message from the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services.
Today, my new dad and I shot off a rocket in the park.
Today, my new son and I failed to shoot off a rocket.
He knew exactly what to do.
I had no clue what I was doing.
We set up the rocket.
Hit ignition.
And then
nothing. Sometimes I laugh when I'm frustrated.
Then out of nowhere, the rocket launched into the air.
The rocket did get into the air.
I've never seen anything fly so high.
And then crashed into a kite.
Look out! Look out!
And then the pond.
I'll never forget that day.
I'll never forget that day, even if I tried.
You don't have to be perfect to be a perfect parent. Thousands of kids in foster care will take you just as you are. For more information on how you can adopt, visit adoptuskids.org. A public service announcement from the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services, Adopt U.S. Kids, and the Ad Council.
When I was little, I didn't talk for a long time. I liked things to always be the same. Anything new or different would scare and upset me. I was very sensitive to lights and sounds. It was almost like I had bigger eyes and ears than everyone else. So I built secret hiding places where nothing could get in. I didn't like looking people in the eye. It made me feel uncomfortable. I'd throw big tantrums over little things like when my socks didn't match. Sometimes I'd do the same things over and over. Until one day, I found out I had autism. My family got me help. Slowly, I learned how to live with it better.
You can see signs of autism in children as young as 18 months. Early intervention can make a lifetime of difference. Learn the signs at autismspeaks.org/signs. Brought to you by Autism Speaks and the Ad Council.
You're listening to Living Full Out with Nancy Solari. With Nancy's expertise, you'll learn how to embrace your potential and strive for success. If you have a question or need further support, send us an email at connect@livingfullout.com. Now, here's Nancy.
Welcome back to the Living Full Out Show. I am Nancy Solari, and today we're talking about determination and how we can wrestle that and harness that and really embrace it to attain what we want to in life. Now, our inspirational guest today, Lauren Williams, is no stranger to needing determination. But get this, she's the first American woman to have medaled in both the spring and winter games. Now, that's not a snap. No, who does that? That's amazing. So I'd very much like to welcome Lauren to the show.
Thanks for having me, Nancy.
Absolutely. Now, I got to tell you, Lauren is just a beam of energy. So hold on to your seats because she's a fast talker, but I love it. Okay. So what I want to do is I want to take our audience back. It was really around 9 years old that you started to enjoy kind of running around just as a little kid, but your parents started to realize, I think we got something here. Can you share with us, what was a 9-year-old Lauren like?
She was a ball of energy, that is for sure. And there's still a little bit of a tussle between my mom and my dad with what the story is and how I got started in track and field. My mom will tell you that I got home faster than the family German Shepherd one day, and that's how she knew I needed to be in the track program. Whereas my dad would say, we were at the Carnegie Science Center, and I spent all day racing the FloJo hologram. And I actually did beat the hologram, so it must not have been set at world record pace, but that's how he knew he needed to get me into a track and field program.
Well, and I love it. And the thing is you started to really enjoy running and racing, and you have this competitive side to you. And has that always been there, like all through your, say, high school years and beyond?
No, that was something that I had to grow for a little bit. So initially, I enjoyed running. I loved being outside. I did love to compete, but really like competing for something that, mattered or to really win something that counted. I think it started when I got to college. So I just wanted to go to college and, repay my coach for the opportunity to get a free education. My parents really instilled in me the importance of education all through my childhood. So college was really important to me. And when track and field became an option to help me get there, I started to take track a little bit more seriously. But during college, just trying to be as fast as I possibly could to repay my coach was really my first motivation. And then I realized that competing was fun and that the girls that I competed with in high school were also, at different colleges, and I didn't want to see them beat me anymore. So that's where the competitive spirit really started to grow.
I love the honesty in that. Who doesn't want to beat those girls from high school? That's fun. Some good rewards in that. But so it was your junior year, though, at the university when really you started to step into the media learning about you. Your coach was seeing you, this amazing potential, and you actually started to win and win big. Can you share with us about how that escalated for you?
Yeah, certainly. So my freshman year, like I said, I was just trying to repay my coach, and I managed to make it to the national championships. It was a pretty big deal for a freshman. And I even made it to the finals, but I was pretty close to last place in the final. Not exactly last, but in the back. And then my sophomore year, it was kind of more of the same. It was a big deal to once again make it to nationals, make to the finals. And this time I was kind of in the middle of the pack. So my junior year, like I said, that competitive energy started to flow. And I really just started to say, okay, I felt like I could be the best person on the line my sophomore year. And I want to really make sure that I'm the first person to the finish line when I was in my junior year. So I started to buckle down, focus on my nutrition and, not hang out as much and, all the things that are really necessary for you to really focus in and do well at something. And I won the national championships in college, but I went far above and beyond there and ran the second fastest time in the world that year. And so immediately I had to turn my focus from being a junior in college to becoming a professional athlete, because second fastest in the world so far that year also meant I was the fastest American. So that meant faster than any of the professional athletes who had been doing this for a living that year.
Now, is that just mind-blowing to you? Because you think of all the athletes that were older than you, that they already were professionals, and here you were the second fast. And what is that moment like? I can't even imagine.
I think it was pretty mind-blowing, but it was also a little bit overwhelming. You know, at this time I was 20 years old, and I had set a very simple goal. I didn't really know or understand that it was the Olympic year and that was something that was within my sight. You know, I was really focused on, like, the women's college nationals. And so now here I am catapulted into the professional world, all of America counting on me to, one, make the team and get the top 3 spots to make the team, but then also to go over to the Olympics and represent the whole United States. So a little bit overwhelming there. But one thing that was really awesome was that I had my father who kept me grounded. And I remember being at the Olympic Games and him telling me, you know, it doesn't really matter what happens out there when you compete. You've already made everybody so proud. You put your best foot forward, and all you have to do is go out there and do your best. And no matter what, you won't be disappointed with the result. And it just gave me a kind of peace to know that the thing that's most important is to do your best, not so much win. You know, did you give it everything you had in that moment? And if you did, you can be satisfied with the result.
No, and I love that advice, honestly. And thank you for sharing that with us, because I think I'm really took that in, and it makes a lot of sense. And when you got to the Olympic Games, did you feel the competitiveness of other athletes? Was it more of a supportive atmosphere? What is that like?
It is a little bit of a competitive environment, especially because, like I said, there were 2 different age groups here. So the year that I went professional, there were quite a few of us that were younger in college, leaving college early to become professionals or represent Team USA that summer. And there was an older group of athletes that had been in the game for quite a while and, you know, kind of established themselves. And, you know, they said, hey, who are these young whippersnappers coming in here? So there was a little bit of a divide on the team there, you know, age-wise, and, you know, them feeling like we're stepping into their territory. But it was great to have other young athletes around and other people who, you know, had performed so well to make Team USA. And we said, hey, you know, we've got nothing to lose out here. We're new, we're young, we're the hot talent. And, you know, worst case scenario, we go back to college at the end of this. But what a great opportunity, and why not seize the moment? And I think that's why so many of us had so much success in 2004.
And for some of our audience who's just hearing your story for the first time now, share with us, how did you do in 2004? What did you take home?
I became a silver medalist at 20 years old in the 100 meters. And it was just a really cool opportunity.
And you know what? I love that. I love that you get to say that, because that is such a big deal. Even though it was in 2004, like, honestly, I mean, you made history. And it excites me to know that I even get the chance to talk to history. I'm talking to it right now, right? You're amazing. So when we come back, so we have to go to a commercial break, I want to talk more about your winnings, and then also the years that came after that, because I know there's some heartbreak, but also a lot more winning moments to come. So stay with us, okay? And everybody, we're going to be going to a commercial break now. This is the Living Full Out Show. I'm Nancy Solari. Stay with us. We'll be back.
You're listening to Living Full Out with Nancy Solari.
There are many sounds in your day-to-day life. There are sounds that wake you up. Sounds that make you smile. Sounds that energize you. And sounds that help you relax. But there are some sounds that can alert you to danger and can help save lives. Wireless emergency alerts, now on many mobile devices, use a unique sound and vibration to bring you information about severe weather events, Amber Alerts, or other emergencies in your area. With critical information from local sources you know and trust, you can be in the know, wherever you are. For more information, visit ready.gov/alerts. Brought to you by FEMA and the Ad Council.
Keyboard Cat, Hamilton the Pug, and Toast Meets World. These are some of the internet's most beloved pets. With millions of YouTube views, shares, Instagram likes, followers, and fans across the globe. But what do all these amazing pets have in common? Their stories started in a shelter. Start your story. Adopt a dog or cat today. Visit theshelterpetproject.org to find a shelter or adoptable pets near you. Training that pet to play the keyboard? Well, that's entirely up to you. Visit theshelterpetproject.org and hear more about Hamilton the Pug, Toast, and Keyboard Cat's amazing adoption stories. Start a story. Adopt a shelter or rescue pet today. Your perfect pet is just a click away at theshelterpetproject.org. A public service announcement brought to you by Maddie's Fund, the Humane Society of the United States, and the Ad Council.
As an 18-year-old, I let my mistakes kind of take over my life. I was 0.5 credits away from completing high school, and I didn't do it.
10 years later, at age 28, Jackie finished her high school diploma.
When I found out that I was pregnant, I know that I had to do something for myself if I wanted to make her a better person and provide a better life for her. My family never stopped pushing for me to be better because they knew what I could become and who I could become as a person. My support team is amazing. The educational director, my sister, and even my 7-year-old daughter has just been more than the support that I could ask for. I've been given an opportunity, and I'm just thankful for it.
No one gets a diploma alone. If you're thinking of finishing your high school diploma, you have help. Find free adult education classes near you at finishyourdiploma.org. That's finishyourdiploma.org. Brought to you by the Dollar General Literacy Foundation and the Ad Council.
What if I could tell you that a full-blown wildfire was going to occur tomorrow right where you live? Tell you exactly which neighborhoods it would engulf and how fast it would do it. The first thing you would do is talk with your loved ones and make a plan today. It's true, I can't tell you a wildfire will strike tomorrow, but shouldn't you make a plan anyway? Go to ready.gov/communicate and make your emergency plan today. Don't wait. Communicate. Brought to you by FEMA and the Ad Council.
Driving has a rhythm all its own. Don't wreck it with a text. Before you get behind the wheel, silence your phone. Or better yet, designate a texter. For more text-free driving tips, visit stoptextstoprex.org. Brought to you by the Ad Council and the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration.
You're listening to Living Full Out with Nancy Solari. As a life coach, Nancy can teach you how to stay strong under pressure and work through challenges you face. Being legally blind, Nancy inspires others to be resilient in overcoming obstacles and live full out. You can ask Nancy for advice in your life on relationships, finance, business, health, and more. Just call in at 800-333-0001. Once again, that's 800-333-0001. Now, here's Nancy.
Thank you for joining us today. I'm Nancy Solari, and this is the Living Full Out Show, and we're talking about determination. And right now, we're having our inspirational guest today, Lauren Williams, on the show. I'd like to bring Lauren back in. Lauren, are you with us?
Couldn't accounted for.
All right. So, Lauren, it's great that, you had that amazing moment, right, in 2004. And I can't even imagine what came after that. But can you share with us, you kind of stunned the world, right? With kind of announcing yourself, here I am. How did you handle the pressure? How did you handle all the good things that were coming your way, but also all the people that were probably, wanting to kind of hold on to your success?
So it's a little bit tough at 20 years old to be able to put the right people around you, and sometimes the wrong people input themselves into your life. But one of the things I really did was make sure that I had a few good people on my team that I knew I could count on. And one of those was my coach, Amy Dean. And so she was the one who sat me down and told me that it was time for me to go pro. And so I frequently tried to run things by her to make sure that I was making a good decision. But also just really being protective of my space. Once I realized that someone, didn't have my best interest at heart, because there are signs, and sometimes you want to ignore those signs, but protecting your space as soon as you get a red flag and saying that this person might not have my best interest, and moving on from communicating or interacting with them is really important so that you can protect your positive energy.
Absolutely. And I think that's a great life lesson overall, right? We have to make sure that, we surround ourselves with people that are going to support in the direction we want to go. And so I'm proud of you for doing that, because there are athletes that will make the wrong decision. And I think a lot of that was your faith and your family and the coaching. Now, in 2008, as great as the prior years had gone, that's kind of where you started to have some hard life moments. And I know one of the biggest wind beneath your wings has been your father, but can you share with us what happened in 2008 and really how you still kept the desire to compete, but how you put your faith and your family first?
Yeah, definitely. So 2008, my father, when I was about around 9 years old, actually, around the same time I started running, was diagnosed with leukemia. And that was one of the reasons that my mom and my dad split when I was 3. So I was living with my mother when we found out that my father was sick, and she sent me to live with him through my high school years. So we had a really close relationship. And I was really grateful for them, despite the fact that we were split, they were split up, that they worked so hard to work together to do whatever was in my best interest. But so 2008, my dad's leukemia came out of remission, and I was at the Olympic Games. They didn't even tell me until after I had finished competing why he wasn't there. He told me he was, busy. He wasn't going to be able to make it. He didn't tell me that he was so ill that he was pretty much near death. So October of 2008, my dad actually passed away shortly after the Olympic Games. And it was just a really tough time for me because the actual Olympics, I was favored to win. Coming off of 2004, being the silver medalist, the girl who won the gold medal had retired. I had a great 2005, a really close race in 2007. So 2008 was supposed to be my year. And the races didn't go quite as planned. And I ended up in 4th place, which I'll tell everyone is 4th is far worse than 8th when you're at the Olympic Games, to be the first one out of the medals. So I had that one crushing moment. And only a couple months later, turned around to have the second crushing moment of my father passing away. And it was just really hard, with him being, I have 5 sisters and 2 brothers, so a really big family, and how hard he worked to keep us together, to know that the guy that was like the glue that kept us all in place was gone was really a tough time.
Well, and thank you for sharing that with us, because whether we none of us want to encounter loss, but we do. And I know my father has passed away as well. And so I hear you. There's just no replacement for that, right? But when life gave you those hurdles, those disappointments, that loss, how did you find the clarity to want to keep going? Because so many times people are like, I'm done, and I just, I'm not good enough, or I just don't have it in me. And it's okay sometimes to take a pause. And you did decide to take a pause to reflect.
I did exactly that. And one of the things that was really important to me was my faith. And I was so grateful to my dad for being, the kind of guy that beat us over the head with the Bible. I didn't appreciate it during my teenage years, but I kind of turned a different direction from him at one point, trying to I wanted to find my own relationship with God and my own situation with faith. So I really, went off and dug deep and found what worked for me. But I'm grateful that he was the person that kind of lit that fire under me in the first place, because that's what carried me through at a time like this. There was just so many, days that you're just like, oh my goodness, what am I here for? What is my purpose? What do I, why should I carry on? And it really puts in perspective for you that, like I said, the win and the loss is not the biggest thing. And, you're more than just a track and field athlete. So I took the time to just kind of pause, reflect, and say, who am I outside of Lauren Williams, the Olympian that I've come to be known as? And how can I make the most meaningful life for me? What happens if I can't compete anymore? Who am I outside of that? Really great to take that step back, kind of regroup, and then decide that I did want to rejoin sports.
And The time that you took off, were you still training? I mean, was there kind of this additional hurdle of needing to get yourself back to where you were before you engaged in competing again?
Oh, definitely. So I took a full year off, and I did train, but I trained lighter. This was an opportunity that my coach took to, try some different things, so that we were exercising. But, there's some things she wanted to try in the past that, you don't want to risk doing something different when there's something big on the line. This was an off year. We had already taken it off. We tried some different training regimens and things like that. And I will say it was a lot harder than I thought, to take a full year away from racing to return. And I didn't have the best year when I returned in 2011. So 2010 was the season that I took off, and 2011 was pretty rough for me.
Okay. Now take us into 2012, obviously, that things were looking up again, right?
Mm-hmm.
And
yes,
then,
for sure. So.
And then you decided, you know what, I'm going to add another win to my resume here. How did you decide to leap into bobsledding, of all things? How did that come about?
So it's so funny how life will take you right where you need to be in the moment. I was headed to a race in Rome. It was 2013, my last season as a competitive track and field athlete, and I was trying to figure out what am I going to do next. And so, as I was a girl having tried bobsled after the 2012 games, and she was headed to the same race as me in Rome. So I just simply asked her, how did you find bobsled? I read an article about you having tried it, and she said, "Oh my, it was so amazing. The team and the camaraderie is just such a wonderful opportunity. If I was you, Lauren, I'd give it a try. And it's the Olympic year." And I said, "Oh, whoa. I wasn't thinking Olympics. I was just thinking it'll be something cool to do. And, since you did it, that maybe I could do it too." And she's like, "No, Lauren, you're fast, you're powerful. Show up there, and they'll teach you everything else you need to know."
And here you go again, right? You had 6 months to train. That's it. And that is so amazing to me. We're talking about determination today, and the determination that you had to figure out that sport, to excel in it. And how did you end up doing? How did your team do that year?
Yeah, we just had 6 short months for me to pick everything, learn everything. And it was a steep learning curve, but I really attribute my success to the camaraderie of the team and them willing to put the best team out there versus us competing against one another. We were managed to earn the silver medal by .01. We were so close to a gold medal. But that was the best silver medal that I've ever won because there was so much hard work and effort that went behind the scenes. And I truly was determined to make sure that I was an asset to the team, especially after showing up just 6 months before all these big events were going to take place.
Lauren, I think it's amazing. I mean, you're fearless in some ways when you get your mind set on something and you're going to go for it. It's really amazing. Now, I know you eventually did retire. And there's a crossroad for every athlete when they retire. What am I going to do next? How did you make that leap to doing a new career?
Yeah, it was a little bit of a tough transition, but I knew I had to figure out a way to be able to continue to serve sports, but in my own way. So I was a finance major, I had a master's in business, and I had 2 financial advisors that weren't very good. And I knew that millennials and professional athletes in particular, both of which I am, needed a different kind of service than the options that are out there. And so I decided to start my company, Worth Winning, to help millennials and professional athletes organize their finances so that we would have a more comprehensive option available that suited the needs of young people and athletes.
And I love that. And you did it with grace. You really went back to your training at the university and really enjoyed making a new career out of that. And when you look back at your life, Lauren, what would you say is the secret recipe, the secret ingredient that got you through the ups and the downs?
I would say the secret ingredient is gratitude and a positive attitude mixed in with your faith. Waking up with hope and excitement each and every day and finding little small things to be grateful for. We call it Thankful Thursday in our household because you always want to find something to just go above and beyond when you're thinking about gratitude. So we dedicate a whole day to gratitude in our household.
I love that. And that's Thankful Thursday?
Thankful Thursday, every Thursday.
And what is,
we're trying to be grateful every day.
I love that. I think we should have something every day in every household. Fun Friday, Thankful Thursday. Listen, everybody, that's a great tip right there. Well, Lauren, you have been amazing, representing our country in such a dynamic way, and we will be thinking of you and wishing you all the best. Go out there and just continue to motivate and inspire people as you do, and most of all, we have gratitude for you being on the show today.
I am so grateful that you had me on and continue to do such an awesome show that inspires the whole world. Thanks, Nancy.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Have a wonderful day. Thank you, Lauren.
Bye-bye.
Bye. And when we come back, we're going to be taking your calls. Again, we're talking about determination and gratitude and purpose, all those things to get us to the other side. Lauren did it. I know you can do it. It's just figuring out what do you want and what do we need to do to get you there. So we'll be coming right back after this break, again, taking your calls. I am Nancy Solari. This is the Living Full Out Show, and we'll be back right after this break.
Well, Jason, I've got to tell you, you're pretty much everything this company is looking for in an entry-level candidate.
Great.
Your resume isn't quite what we're used to, but you've got a fantastic work ethic.
Thank you.
And I'm impressed by how you carry yourself.
So, should we talk about the job?
What? The job? Oh, sorry. Yeah, I have no way of recruiting or even meeting you. This interview didn't happen.
It may sound ridiculous, and that's because it kind of is. There's a huge pool of talent your company is missing out on. Meet the grads of life. Who are they? Talent worth knowing about. Young adults of unique determination and experience. An ideal fit for your company in an entry-level position, internship, or even mentorship. They might not have every qualification you typically look for, but they're exactly who your company needs.
Man, we really could have used him.
Don't miss out on a resource many innovative companies have already discovered. Go to gradsoflife.org to learn how to find, cultivate, and train this great pool of untapped talent. Brought to you by the Ad Council and gradsoflife.org.
The following message is about Medicaid and CHIP, free or low-cost health coverage for kids and teens. Enrollment is open year-round.
Hey, voice lady, give me the mic.
Okay.
Hey, DJ, let's switch up the music. That's better. So listen up, moms and dads out there. There are these programs called Medicaid and CHIP. They offer free or low-cost health coverage for kids. Things like doctor and dentist visits, prescriptions, and shots are covered. All the stuff that keeps kids like me healthy and in charge.
So, as you can tell, a covered kid is a confident kid. And it means confident parents, too. To learn more about affordable health coverage for your family, visit healthcare.gov or call 1-877-KIDS-NOW. That's 1-877-543-7669.
Yep, you could do something big for your family today because enrollment is open year-round.
This has been a message from the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services.
And Sophia.
They're gonna jump out of trees. You can't stop them. They'll go down the slide head first. They'll make parachutes out of sheets. They'll balance on things that are impossible to balance on, like the back of a couch or a windowsill or a scooter seat. They'll run with sharp objects. They'll run into walls. They'll climb things that won't hold their weight. They'll put their fingers in places where they could get smashed. They'll drive their tricycles down steep hills. They'll bounce balls off their faces. They'll step on each other. They'll jump on each other. They'll invent whole new ways to put themselves in jeopardy. But one of the most dangerous things kids will do happens while they're sitting perfectly still. Kids who ride in a car without a booster seat are much more likely to suffer serious or fatal injury during a crash than kids in boosters. But amazingly, 80% of all kids who need them aren't in them. After a toddler seat and until they're 4'9", booster kids, and don't let them down.
Go to boosterseat.gov to learn more about the importance of boosters. A message from the U.S. Department of Transportation and the Ad Council.
Hey, Nick Cannon here. So we all know we've got a lot of talent in America. But unfortunately, there's something else we got way too much of. Childhood hunger. 17 million kids struggle with it in this country. That's why the Feeding America nationwide network of food banks gather surplus food to give hope to hungry kids and their families. Join me in supporting Feeding America and your local food bank at feedingamerica.org.
A message from Feeding America and the Ad Council.
We are your pets, and this song's dedicated to those people who don't have health insurance yet. Enroll, we say, we want you to be okay. Enroll,
Health insurance is now affordable and covers prescriptions, hospitalizations, and preventive care. Visit getcoveredamerica.org to learn more.
And take care, people.
Brought to you by Get Covered America and the Ad Council.
To be determined in life means that you put passion and purpose together. To really think about, what is it that I want in my life? How do I want people to think of me? And what do I need to do to get there? And when the down days come, or those pitfalls, or days when things just don't work out, you always want to remember that you are worth it, that it is attainable, and you can live full out.
You're listening to Living Full Out with Nancy Solari. Nancy is here as a guide to show you how to rise above obstacles and savor each moment. If you have a question, call in live at 800-333-0001. That's 800-333-0001. And now, here's Nancy.
Here we are, final segment of the show. I'm so amazed how fast it goes. And most of all, I want to thank you always for listening, because that's how we all move forward together, right? So when we're talking about determination today, it's really about honing in on, where in life do we let ourselves down? Where in life do we let the negative self-talk override our ability to be proud of our accomplishments? I hear it so oftentimes when clients will say, Nancy, I just don't think I can do it. And I always tell them, you want to take out those N''T words. They will not support you. Or maybe they don't even say it out loud and they just have it in their mind. They're worried. The what ifs. The what ifs and the N''T words, you want to be careful to not let them dictate your ability to thrive. And the determination that you have when you match that passion and that purpose, that's what will get you to the other side. It's about believing in yourself. And some days that's hard, right? When something happens, or we don't achieve it, or we fail, or we make a mistake, it's hard to muster that determination. It's hard to have clarity to visualize seeing ourselves on the other end, being successful, attaining that goal. But it is possible. And whenever you lose that faith, whenever you're worried or anxious that it might not work out, that's when you want to turn to our show. You want to turn to a family member, a friend. I'm a big fan of having supporters in our life. But you have to build that team. You have to build those people in your life and let them know, hey, when I'm having a down day, can I call you? Can I text you? Can I email you? And will you just remind me what I'm shooting for? Really important to have those people that can cheer you along. That's what will also maintain your determination. Now, I'm getting word from our producer that we do have a caller on the line. Hello, welcome to the Living Full Out Show.
Hello.
Hi, thank you so much for calling in. How can we help you today?
My problem is my ex doesn't want to talk to me at all about the kids when there's issues with the kids, because everything is always my fault.
Do you think things are your fault?
No.
Okay, because they aren't, right? So sometimes
No.
you have to look at what somebody is saying to you as noise, right? It's just noise. And I'm glad that you don't take it. But the other thing I want you to kind of look at is, in every relationship, whether it be an ex, whether it be parents, siblings, coworkers, we have to look at, what could we do to make that communication better? We can't change the other person. We can't even change how they view things. But how can we diffuse an argument? How can we enhance that relationship? And when you consider the relationship that you have with your ex, because obviously you guys are co-partners here with your kids, what do you think that you could do to make that relationship stronger?
Nothing.
Nothing?
Because he will never admit that anything is wrong with him, ever.
Mm-hmm.
He doesn't know how to say, I'm sorry.
Mm-hmm.
We were married for 20 years, and he does not know how to say, I'm sorry.
Mm-hmm. And you know what? That is going to be his cross to bear, right? That's a lonely life.
Right, but we still have two kids that we have to deal with.
Exactly. So what do your kids think? Are they more in agreement with you or Dad?
Me.
Okay. And have you tried it? What I'm about to say is kind of a tricky one because, like I had parents that divorced as well. And at the end of the day, it means so much to kids that both parents just try to support them in having a relationship with their parents. So you know that your relationship with your ex is what it is, and that's why you guys are obviously divorced, and you're probably happy about that. But you just want to make sure that your kids come away knowing that they have a mother who loves them with everything she has. You're awesome. There's no debating that. But at whatever level the father can be a part of their life, you want to try to support that, even though you're not his biggest fan. It's just you want your kids to come out of this just making sure that both parents really do love them, that they had as much time with both parents that they could have. Do you get that?
Yeah.
So so in this case, you probably are right for sure, and your kids know it. But I think it's just making sure that at the end of the day, I wish parents lived forever. And I'm telling you, my mom is my best friend, so I'm sure your kids feel the same way. But it's just making sure that we don't turn around in our life and have any I wish or any regrets. So it's just kind of saving that space for your kids that there isn't that. Okay? But I want to say thank you so much for calling in. And, we'll be thinking of you because I know it's heavy on your heart. Okay?
Okay.
Thank you for calling in.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. And I want to thank all of our callers who called in today. I mean, you're opening your hearts to us, and we so appreciate that. And the Living Full Out team is here each week to support you. Rich, Roger, Bailey, Kristen, you name it. So many people here to support you in living your life full out. Most of all, we'll be here back next week to keep you motivated, to keep you inspired to move forward. Go to livingfullout.com to hear more of this show and get resources. And here's to you living your life full out.
Thank you for listening to the Living Full Out Show with Nancy Solari. To learn more about this program, visit livingfullout.com for the latest episodes. Connect with the Living Full Out community by following us on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and subscribing to our YouTube channel. If you have an inspirational story you want to share, email us at connect@livingfullout.com. Here's to you, living full out.